Hey guys, what's up? This is Alex Duque, and we are talking about joints now. I have this little geometry, I just made it. I'm going to scale it up, and I'm going to give it two divisions. Not like that, but like that. So we have vertices here at the base, vertices here in the middle, and vertices at the end. Now, joints, as I'm sure you know, you can access by going to the animation menu, skeleton, joint tool, and then if you I'm just gonna press X here. I'm gonna press here, here, and my X is not working, but whatever. Do it one more time. 1, 2, and 3. So here are some joints, and as you can see, they're really small. So if I want to make them bigger, I can make them bigger by going to Display, Animation, Joint Size, and then that can make them a little bit bigger or smaller. That's just for display purposes. Okay, something else that's worth noting is like if I move this, because of the hierarchy, this is hierarchically on the top. So therefore, that's called the root. The root is moving the other two guys because they're under hierarchically. So if I wanted to adjust this, usually what you do is you move this guy and then you move that guy and then you move that guy. But I'll show you a little trick. You can actually move this guy and then this guy, you can actually press insert and move it around. Ha! Anyway, I'm not good with rigging, but I think that's pretty neat. Um, so I'm just gonna move this guy over here, and now we have this simple joint setup, and we have that. Now the question is, how do you make that deform? Well, you make it the joint deform the geometry. Just gonna make a duplicate of that geometry in case I need to explain something. You make the joint deform the geometry by selecting the joint, shift selecting the geometry, and then go into skin, bind skin. Now there's two types of binds, but we're gonna be doing smooth bind. And now that that's bound, if I move this guy over here, what that does, or I'm gonna rotate it, is that it doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because I'm retarded and my settings are adjusted. So just go to bind skin, smooth bind, and then just come here and reset settings. There we go. And one more time. So now that joint is deforming the geometry. What's happening? This joint is moving these four vertices. That's it. That's the only vertices that this guy's moving. And they're like, yeah, but why the hell is the other ones moving? Well, because this guy is moving those guys, and this guy is moving those guys. So if I move this, and that one moves, and that one moves, then of course they all move. Alright? Now, when I talked about the structure of Maya, and that's important because what's happening here is not that the joint is moving the object. The joint is moving the vertices, and that's really where this is important. The joint is moving the vertices. Okay? Now, as you can see, in my case, if I select the vertices, I'm not selecting the joints. That's because I have my Maya set up so it doesn't do that. But a lot of times you're going to try to select the vertices and you end up selecting like so. Ha. There you go. You end up selecting the joints. So this guy, as you already know, this is object mode. You have this mask selections, like, you know, you can tell it not to select joints. This is skeleton joints. So like if you uncheck that, now it's not going to select joints, period. I can also uncheck, for example, geometry, and now it's not going to select geometry. Alright, so keep those selection masks in mind. They can be pretty helpful. So anyway, what's happening here is that this joint is deforming that geometry, and it's also deforming it according to the edge flow. But more important than the edge flow is the fact that these joints are deforming, are moving vertices. Okay, that's really what matters here. joints are moving vertices. And remember I made a duplicate? The reason why I made that duplicate is because I can get to that same shape if I wanted to by moving things around. But that's probably going to take longer than if I had just done what I did before. Okay? But that's another way to get to that shape. And another way to get to that shape is to use a lattice, for example. If I come here to animation, create deformers lattice, then as long as I put my settings correct, I can actually move that lattice, and then that lattice can give me that shape. I'm moving the lattice, I'm not moving the, see if I delete the lattice. Yet another way of doing the same thing is if I selected this smooth modification brush, for example. So I'm pressing B, and if you make it bigger and smaller. So if I did maybe something like that, and I put it over here, I'm gonna get a little fancy here. Insert, I'm gonna put that there, and then just rotate it. So I'm actually sort of getting to the same principle there. This time just being a little bit more accurate in the proportions. Alright, so there's just, what did we just do here? Just different ways of moving vertices, okay? This is one way to move a vertex, which is via joints. Another way, which is the more obvious way, is to simply move the joints. You can use lattices to move your joints, or you can use other tools like the smooth modification, or any other tool. You can use wire tools, you can use clusters, anything that is a deformer tends to move the vertices and not the object. Okay, so that's the next important thing, and the reason why this is important is because of pretty much what I was saying. Like, it's faster to move things with a joint than it probably would be by moving it manually. Okay, in some cases it might be easier to use the smooth modification brush if there's like something that's more minor. This doesn't take any setup time, whereas this takes some setup time. So it depends on the type of thing that you're deforming. Alright, but that's the next part of the tutorial, so we're done with that part. And we'll come back and finish up with blend shapes. See you in a bit.